Welcome to Lesson 215, Using Equivalent Ratios. Today we're going to talk about how to use equivalent ratios to solve problems. So we spent the last couple of lessons really working on how to find equivalent ratios and what equivalent ratios are. Now what we're going to do is we're going to show how they're useful in solving day-to-day problems. All right, so first, Alexis can buy 2 oranges for 60 cents. How much can she buy 8 oranges for? Right, so what we can do here is we can set up this problem as a ratio and say that she can get 2 oranges to every 60 cents that she spends. I'm going to rewrite that so it looks a little bit nicer for us here. And remember, it's not 60, it's 60 cents, so it's actually 60 hundredths. Now I know that she wants to buy 8 oranges, and since my oranges are listed first, I'm going to list my oranges first here. And I know that to go from 2 to 8, I had to multiply by 4. And I know my rule is what I do to the top, I have to do to the bottom. Or what I do to the left, I have to do to the right. So I'm going to multiply 60 hundredths by 4. 0 times 4 is 0. 6 times 4 is 24, carry the 2, 0 times 4 is 0, plus 2, I have 2 numbers after the decimal, so I move my decimal 2 places to the left. So I know that the ratio, the equivalent ratio would be 8 to $2.40. So what I did here was I found an equivalent ratio that involved using the 8. And to go from 2 oranges to 8 oranges, I had to multiply by 4. So to go from 60 cents to the cost, I did the same thing. I multiplied by 4. And therefore, I found out, and I would want to write my answer in a complete sentence. So Alexis can buy 8 oranges for $2.40. So you're doing the exact same thing, but now you're actually solving problems. You're not just answering the question, what are 2 equivalent ratios to 2 to 60? You're actually using the information, creating a ratio, and then using an equivalent ratio to get your answer. Now we didn't just use any equivalent ratio, we used the ratio that involved the number we needed. Since we needed 8 oranges, we put 8 where we used to have, or where we would have the number of oranges. Let's say we can change this up a little bit and say, how much can she buy, or how many oranges can she buy with, let's say, $1.20. Okay, this isn't in your notebook, but I just want you to follow along here. So I can change this question and say, how many oranges can she buy with $1.20. So now the way that this would change is, since I don't have the number of oranges, I would still set up my original ratio, so $2 or 2 oranges to the 60 cents. And then I would put the $1.20, and I know that to go from 60 cents to $1.20, I have to multiply by 2. So I would have to do the same thing to the number of oranges. So basically, whatever you're looking for, that part of your ratio should stay blank, because that's what you're going to use to find your answer. So I take the number of oranges I have, which is 2, and I know I have to multiply it by 2, and I know that I would get 4. So she can buy 4 oranges with $1.20. So it works both ways. You just have to make sure to plug the correct number into the correct place. Alright, so what I'd like you to do is I would like you to read this problem, try it on your own, and when you come back, we'll go over your answer. Alright, so if Kate reads 5 chapters in 2 hours, at this rate, how many chapters will she read in 6 hours? So I know that I'm going to write my ratio as chapters to hours, and it's 5 chapters to 2 hours. I'm looking for the number of hours, and I apologize, that looks like a 2. I'll make it more of a question mark. And I know that I have My goodness, if I could write it in the correct spot, that would help. I'm looking for the number of chapters, and I have 6 hours. So another way we can set this up is to look like a fraction. It has to give me something to 6. I know to go from 2 to 6 I have to multiply by 3, so I know that that is what I need to do on the top. So in order to figure out how many chapters she will read, I have to do 5 times 3, which is 15. So I'm given 3 parts of the information, and I need to use it to find the 4th. So you should have found, and you should have a complete sentence saying, Kate would read 15 chapters in 6 hours. Alright, so our last problem here, Janet sells 2 burgers to every 2 fries during the lunch hour. If she sells 16 fries, how many burgers will she sell? Right, so I want you to solve this on your own, and I'd also like you to add another problem into your notes. So there's going to be a second part. If she sells 14 hamburgers, actually, you know what? Let's change these numbers here. Change your 2 to a 5, please. Okay, so I'm sorry, you can change it to an 8. That's going to make this problem a little bit easier to do. So you're changing the 2 fries to 8 fries. If she sells 16 fries, how many burgers will she sell? So that's problem number 1. And then with the same numbers, if she sells 14 hamburgers, how many fries will she sell? Okay, so again, you'll have to add this problem in to your notes. I would like you to solve it. If you want to write it on the back of your notes, that's fine as well. But you need to solve both of these problems so we can go over them in class tomorrow. As always, if you have any questions, please be sure to post them to Edmodo.